I'd like to attend sometime when you're in town, I'd like to come and see this.
Oh, absolutely.
I will make sure, yeah,
Let Bobby and Ashley know and they can do that.
and don't hesitate, come anytime in the morning, cause sometimes, like, when students are in there and already rolling, that's the best time, cause then you're watching them interact, so don't hesitate to just open the door and come right in. You don't need a specific time or anything like that.
That'd be good, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next is Tim Becker, he's not here yet. Doris, you have the floor.
I wanna come up there.
Yep, please do.
You guys all know I drive for the transit here. And we are situated out of Devil's Lake, which we're having a lot of problems with and stuff. We got the new van, the new bus. And one thing I didn't notice, I'll let you know, is the buses have always been Eddy County. Well, this is a new one. It's Devil's Lake Senior. So they could pull our buses. Because it's in their name.
How did that change, or?
They just changed, they do what they want up there.
I see.
I'm gonna tell you that right now, I won't get. And what I'm is here for is that, okay, we've always had an out-of-town driver. Okay, Dennis retired because of 5 stents he had in his heart. So which I understood, we were looking for another driver. Well, then they decided up there, they're gonna change our schedule. Like, they go from Devil's Lake to Grand Forks 4 days a week, out of the month. And I said, I talked to them, I tried to be reasonable with them. Didn't get mad, and I said, hey, we can't do that. We're a small community. If we gotta go to Carrington, Cheyenne, well, now I'm going on Carrington to the doctor and that. These people gotta go with the schedule they get for, to there, because I said everything changes. And then Geyer moved to Harvey. We have a lot of people from this county that have talked to me and stuff, and I said, you have to call Devil's Lake. Devil's Lake says, no, we're not going there. So, and I said, well, why not? I questioned it. Well, we want, and then I went on to that, and they wouldn't explain, So I had finally, after about 14 years, I had, the review, that came up good, except for me working with her, because I was fighting for us here, for the people. And she wouldn't listen and that, and then one time, it was getting heated on her and me, and I said, I am gonna hang up because I'm getting mad. I don't wanna get, So when they did the evaluation down here, I did ask her right out. I said, now here's something I wanna know. We've always been able to go, before I started there, we went to Fargo twice, Bismarck twice, 3 times to Jamestown and stuff, and I said, through the, and I said, why can't we do that anyway? No. And I said, why is it? You just want everything to Devil's Lake? And her response was yes. And I said, that's not helping our community. Because we got, I know of 6 people here around here have to go to Jamestown for dialysis. And I asked about that. No. We just had a lady called me last week and she said, I need to go to Carrington on this Thursday to see a surgeon down there. And she called up there because they transferred everything from out of town to them up there. We are not to worry about a damn, a thing about it. And I said, yeah, we got it. I said, we have to know. And then when they're interviewing, I said, I would like to know who we're getting. Because I said, if I don't feel they're safe, I'm not, I'm not giving the key to the building over there. I said, that's totally out. And she, well, you have to. I said, no, I don't. Because Dennis Coney gave me charge of taking, who. And so I went and I said, but I would like to see, and I've talked with Ann down in Carrington, because they come down here quite a bit. And here a while back, she told me that Eddie County, you know, through the whole, it was over $20-some thousand for a quarter for them coming down here. Plus what, you know, the people have to take. And I said, why are we, you know? But when I was talking to Ann, and she said, you know, but I said, I'd like to go get out of Devils Lake, because a lot of Nelson County pulled out, Benson County pulled out. Benson County just started back up. They're on their own. Benson County is Benson County. But, the South Central that with Carrington's with, they're out of, Valley City. And we could go with them. If we, you know, and they pretty much, Ann takes care of most, all their out of town stuff. And like, we always, you know, before this, we did any out of town stuff, we did everything going up, you know, out, so we knew where, and like, somebody, like say you called and said you needed to go to so-and-so, and I'd say, well, okay, I said, I'll get back to you, I will call the driver to verify that he could go. And then I would, you know, call you back and let you know either way. But they don't want us to do none of that.
I was contacted too, and I talked to them up there, and they said there was a lack of driver problem, and once, if they got enough drivers, they can fill in the gaps a lot more.
I've
What
been
do you
there,
think of that?
I've been there. about
With
14
Dennis not being there and stuff like that, you know?
Right, but when I talk to them and stuff, Cheryl is the one that really, you know, and she goes, well, this is the way it's gonna be, and there's gonna be no change. And I said, hey, we've got to change and stuff, and I told her they were at $10 to $11 an hour. I said, I've had some, you know, see, they drive for $14, $15 an hour. We ain't paying that. And I said, well, we gotta get drivers, I said. And I said, that $10 that's not experience, $11 of experience. I said, that's not gonna cut it.
That's hard to cut.
And I said, and I was being honest with her, but she won't, and I'm just looking at, and I brought this here with, in case you could see the registration.
Yeah, I wonder, how could they change it out of our name then?
Okay, they have, that I don't understand,
Great,
but,
that's what I was,
you know, this is something, I noticed this after I set up appointment for here. As I going through some stuff in the drawer and I found these old registration. And I looked at this one, I said, this isn't right, you know? I said, they could pull our vehicles.
well, it's supposed to be Eddie County's van, isn't it?
Right.
We purchased
The
it.
van and the bus are Eddie County.
Right. And all of a sudden, their name is on the
Purchase
title.
them.
Right. We,
They
everything,
didn't purchase them with just funding that we give them, but we actually fund them. I mean, I think we need to clarify that before we get too excited about whose name's on there, because.
well, I'm
I
just
mean,
bringing
there's
this, you know, seeing
Right.
this how many years it's been.
Yeah, I would like that
So
clarified,
something
but I
changed.
think we need
Yeah.
to actually see who actually purchased that. Is it just funding that we give them because we're with them now? I've talked to that lady, and it was a struggle,
Yeah.
because I was trying to get people rides to Harvey, and that was an absolute, no.
Yeah. See,
That was
this-
last year, we don't have drivers, I get all that.
I said, we did lose one, and
Yeah,
then they went to me and they said, well, would you know, when he retired, all I mentioned to them is that I would like to, instead of working Friday, I would like to move, you know, drop Friday and pick up another day. Because my wife retired at pasta plant and she has Friday off, and I figured this would work just perfect for us if we want to go someplace. Well, she literally took her, and they wanted to only go to 3 days a week here
for the bus.
for the bus.
For the city, even around town? Wow.
Yes, and I went to,
That's,
I fought it to 4 days. I said, I'll do all 5 days, I have no problem, we're not going over the hours.
the other guy's not coming down anymore?
No, he retired. He's 78 years old. His family had land, and there's 5 of them in there. 3 of them decided they wanted to sell the land. So he said, I can't work and get that, for tax reasons and stuff. So he retired, and he was he drove from Devil's Lake every day.
Yeah,
I mean, he was pretty faithful. And like he'd call me, couldn't make it or something, I'd come in. No problem. And I'm willing to do here. And then one thing I told him too, I said, now you gotta change the time that's in the transcript. Because they changed it from 8:30 to 2 now. And the transcript, that's in the summer hours.
Yeah.
It's 8, and they got it still 8:30 to 2:30. Or 8:30 to 2. And I said, why didn't you just leave it the way it was? And she said, we'll do what we want. And this is why I'd like to, myself and a bunch of other people, I could bring a whole slug of people that do rides and stuff, would say, we want out of there. If they called up there and got told, flat, no. These are the days and that's it.
so, if we even thought about considering that, our meals come from there. What are we gonna do with them?
Okay, here's, okay, I've done some.
Yep, I figured you had, so let's
Okay.
have the whole spiel.
When we get done the meals, we would get from Carrington.
That's what I was wondering.
The only thing is they don't do Wednesday. And some of the people the people that do get, they have no problem with it. I don't know why. It's been like that for years, even before Ann was there. It was Wednesdays, there was no meal. And that Sharon over there, nothing else. She said, I can make meals up for, they serve, 27 people. She said, I can make meals up for,
Oh, we used to.
I know, my wife worked there.
They used to years ago,
No,
and I
Papa
think the
Shinsky.
meals, I think the meals were a lot better.
Oh, hey, tell me.
Yeah.
But Carrington, like I said, I talked to her about the meals and stuff. And we get a lot of low sodium mixed vegetables, on there. Very seldom corn, peas, or even buttered beans. Any of that. And I questioned that and said, well, we gotta watch this. Well, Carrington, they do not have, if you wanna have mixed vegetables, you just let them know. And they have corn, peas, and all this stuff all made up. And they'll mix it for them.
So they'd be willing to do our meals and bring.
Yes, Ann said they would be willing to do the meals and stuff, and I
So
said,
who's ahead, who do you talk to? So that you said that they're through Valley City?
right, Pat is her name.
But Carrington does their own meals, don't they?
They do their own meals right there, it's all free. And Carrington, they go way out, and once they get Grace City, schoolhouse, and they get way out there, Grace City Schoolhouse does the meals to go out further to Binsford and all over there.
Okay.
So, their meals are,
I bet they'd be really good.
oh yeah, I've been there and I said, my stomach turned one time when I went in there. I said, yeah, but, as far as I know, Pat is still the head person in Valley City.
Pat,
I don't know the last.
okay, that's in Valley City. Who is in Carrington then?
That's Ann.
And,
Vandy, not Vandy.
Andy Holman?
Very nice lady. I don't know what you think.
Okay.
Yeah, she's one of the people too. She's already been hounding me to put here and go drive there.
Well, I'm glad you came in and let us know what's going on, because I've been hearing complaints too.
Yeah.
And if you got some other options, that's great, that's what we
Yeah,
need to
this
go.
is, I started this here a few years ago, just checking and seeing. And I was told that we have to have a petition, to switch from them.
Would that be hard?
No, I got a lady right now in town, there's got a petition ready to go, if we need it. But I was told that if it went through you guys, it'd be less hassle and stuff, so. But I mean, I've just been touching bases here and there, but I
We'll have
just,
to do a little research, but
Yeah.
I think it's definitely something we should really
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
seriously
and
consider.
and since I've been there about 14 years, it's, everything was Devil's Lake.
Yeah.
I mean, if Carrington didn't have the hospital and clinic there, we wouldn't even go to Carrington. That's the only thing that's getting us going to Carrington. And that's been said right from them, so. But I said,
That's our close hospital.
but I said, this is the problem we've had, and I just wanted to
So
get
do you
it.
think if we went to Valley City, they'd allow us to go to Harvey also?
Yes, they would.
They would?
It would. Carrington has been all the way to Williston and all over. They go all over, because most everything comes out of Carrington. Valley City will call Carrington to have pick people up in Valley City and take them wherever.
They got a lot of drivers down there then too, they're.
Carrington has 3 vans that go out of Carrington. And sometimes they need a 4th, so they call Valley City, and then they check with like if we were in there and our van was sitting there not going, they would ask us if they'd be all right for it to be used. Like Cooperstown's with them, and Cooperstown and them do allow them to come get their van. So,
We gotta find out who owns our van now though,
well, this is what I would, the van and bus.
and bus.
Because even when we got the new bus, we always had a 15-passenger bus. And I said, we need a 15-passenger bus. I mean, we haul a lot of kids, I'll tell you that right
It's pretty full, I see
During
that.
the
Oh,
school
yeah.
year.
now. And I've been, Johnny was 15, we could get by with 2 runs. We've been to 4, I've even had 5 runs after school.
Wow.
And I said, this is what, and I said, we can't have a 9-passenger bus. It's a 10, but there's a front seat. Law, state law, you can't put anybody in there unless they're 18 or older.
You don't probably get many of them,
Yeah,
No,
18 year olds
Probably.
or over.
probably not too many 18-year-olds riding the bus.
but I just take them size and that, and I said, another problem is a seatbelt's in there. If you pull on them, they lock up, jam, and it's a heck of a time getting them done. And I've talked to her several times, I said, call Ford Consumers to get it on their record. She went to the Ford dealership and they said, there's nothing we can do. And I said, I told her, I said, I'm finally tired of fighting with them. We're in town. I'm not gonna make them put the seatbelts on. I mean, we're just short distance and I watched my speed, 90 miles an hour. No. But no, I said it's a hassle because it takes another 5 minutes or better to get one of them undone. And I've tried everything I could think of to get it to work. But yeah, this is what I just thought, and I'm at the point where, I could say,
You need some help.
I need help, and it is an object that I don't mind doing it.
Mhm.
It's just an object that and like I said, when I asked, we got Dennis Nybold driving out the 4 days out of town, which is good, and he is a nice person.
Mhm.
You might not think so, but.
No.
But yeah,
No,
so,
he's
but
good.
he would be willing to go more.
Good.
Right, because right now he's out at the golf course and he helps at the cemetery mowing. And he said well, I'd gladly go more. But see, they got it tied up there, so that's where it limits us. And I used to, okay, I should go too. I used to, in the summertime when Pat was up there, not the same Pat, but up there working with the supervisor, I went through, because in the summertime we don't have many people. I went through, I said, we got people that called and we got the bus the van going to Devil's Lake. I said, is there any reason why I can't take the bus and take them to Carrington? Say hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. And she said, yeah. So this year I asked them that again. I said, about me going, to help And that she point blank, no. So when people call and ask, I say, I hate to tell you, I gotta say no. And then I get
Yeah.
but I do love what I'm doing. And stuff, and the kids mean a lot to me, the adults mean a lot to me, so this is where I like, so this is where I'd like you guys to probably see what you guys can do.
Some checking.
So,
Budget time, we have time to do
Does
this.
somebody wanna take it?
Yeah.
Take responsibility for that?
Yeah.
One of us? So we don't all, all three of
Well,
us.
no,
Yeah.
one
I
person.
would, since I've already, like last year, I reached out to them, it was mainly because of the vets. We were trying to
Wow.
work with them and it was like, okay, this is no help.
okay.
Yes,
were
it sounds
getting-
like the devil's like, that outfit is really hard to work with, so.
It's very
If,
hard.
if we have another option, we should sure look at it.
Yeah.
And I said, they would gladly, or we can go on our own too, because I've been trying to, I talked to one of the drivers that drives from Benson. Right now, once they started, we can, he forgot to give me the phone number, that's why, to call, but we can, like, we need somebody to go out of town, somebody has to go out of town, visit. We can call them, they'll come down here and pick them up and take them.
In Benson County.
Out of Benson County, they'll take them wherever. They pulled away from, just like we're doing, the same
Wait.
problem. And so they start up, they're located out of Maddox, where they are. They'll come down.
So they have somebody that kinda in charge of that then,
Right,
kinda supervise or organize things or whatever?
right. And like before, we did the organizing right here. But
We used to years ago.
well, that's all they call, like I said, when they call,
They were going to Bismarck, Fargo,
oh yeah.
Jamestown.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, when they put these districts, regions, what do you wanna call them? So we got Devils Lake and everything just like that.
Well, that's the devil's like told me, we don't have the manpower to do that anymore. That's what they told me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we can get it. But I mean, if we go to like $14, $15 an hour, I don't care, as long as you don't get paid more than me. Which like I said, I'll tell you right out, I get just a hair over $18. I've been there just about 14 years, and I'm not complaining. But it's just object, I can't see somebody coming in and getting over me.
But $10, $11 is,
No,
that doesn't
I'm-
fly anymore.
No, I said 14, 15, I says, and I did ask her what Dennis would get, which they are, okay, federally funded, everything. That is everybody's knowledge good. If you ask for it, they don't give it, you put it in writing. If they don't send you something after so many days, you just contact the state. That is all public knowledge to you. What everybody gets paid, anything you need to know. So, I done. But Dennis is really nice. He said he worked, He even told me about, and that's like they cut Friday off, and I told him I worked Friday, all 5 days. But he said, no, but if they would've had their way, they would've had 3.
So you take that on.
You gonna have to drive now?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Thanks.
We'll definitely look into it.
We'll
Okay,
get something
thank
figured
you.
out hopefully here.